Howdy y'all, you got the Bulldog on the channel. Saw the picture there that I started out with. Good news is my son got his first deer. Bad news is he used the high capacity grocery getter to do it. Fender, hood, radiator support, headlight, grill, bumper. We got a lot. But I don't think it's as bad as it could be. Now, got the porta power out here, and I'm going to try to go from, I got the battery out and I moved the computer over. It's pushed this way back. I hope that some of the problems that I was having are solved. Maybe. I don't know. It felt like it was missing a little bit. I'll burn that bridge when I come to it. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to push from the strut tower over to this corner right here, because this whole thing is pushed back about an inch. The marks on this are moved slightly, but not much. I think the whole thing is just kind of like that. You can see that it doesn't line up anymore with over there. Now, when I first put this van together, I had new headlights. Fortunately, I kept the old one, so I've got a headlight. He's all worried about the fender and the hood. I don't care about the fender and the hood, because we need to have, everything functional. So let's start pushing. Okay, I got the battery box out here. It's also got a vacuum can on the back of it, so make sure you don't just yank on it and break off your vacuum line. I've got it sitting on the bolt for the mount here, so that way it's pushing against the frame and everything, as long as it's not so much that it shears off the head of that bolt, which that would be bad. But I'm pushing on this here, and it's moving out just a little bit. Still not enough, but it's getting better. Let's give it some props. Creaking back there because it's now pushing the fender out too. Now that's punching that in right there pretty good. I'll fix it later, but I'm going to relieve the pressure, and we're going to put a board right here so I can get up on the corner real good. Maybe I'll just put this on the corner. Maybe that'll work. There we go. Let's see how much. It's going to flex back quite a bit. Let's go way too far. I think that's pretty good. I want to take a straight edge, go across here and see how we're doing. Okay, so from the looks of it, I'd say we're lined up again, more or less. I like to do this without unbolting stuff first, if I can help it. That way everything moves at the same time, because you'll bend one thing and then the other one won't line up. Sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes you gotta take everything loose because pushing all together is too much. But this time it's not too bad. It wasn't a very big deer. It was probably an adolescent doe, and you just sent it up on it really good. It took flight. All right, I'm going to reach underneath here and flatten this back out. Sometimes the solution is always a bigger hammer. just as long as the headlight fits in there. Now the fender is shoved back pretty good. We'll deal with that later, kinda. I'm gonna work on, pushing it out a little bit, and then I need to pull it this way so that the door, you can see the door has gotten into it. I don't care about the fender. Who cares about the fender? The fender's destroyed. We're just gonna get it to where you can open the door and put a headlight in it. There we go. Uh-oh. There's a wiring harness in there. That was smart. Well, if something doesn't work, I'm going to blame the deer. I'll know right away though. Oh. I'm going to see if I can open that door and reach in there and maybe drive forward on that fender. Well, I can't do it through the open door, but there's a hinge bolt right here. I'm going to try to pry on this. I'm trying to keep from marking up the door because there's nothing wrong with the door. The fender's wrecked. I mean, I could pry it in and maybe deal with it another day, but it looks like everything would require me to pry against the door, and I just don't want to do that because I'll scratch up the door. Now, I've had to do this before, and we just hooked into the fender and pulled it forward, but it's not an option here. I'll be back in a minute after I think about it. Okay, I've got a plan. This is pretty light right here. It doesn't take much to move it. So what I'm going to do is I've got these plastic pry bars you can get dirt cheap at Harbor Freight or something, and I'm going to pull on this like that, and I'm going to see if I can get the door to go past it. Just not getting there. Pulling forward on that fender, and I can't really pull forward. I have to push forward, and that means marking the door. Okay, let me think. All right, I reached in here and just started working it while working the door back and forth. I got this part out, which was a lot of it, but I've got a different pry bar here. I've already broke this one. We're gonna start just trying to work our way up from the bottom. Try to get this fender to where it'll come out on the other side of the door. Oh, there's the piece to that other one. And a lot of times you'll have to use multiple pry bars because everything flexes. You have to have one of them that's holding what you got while you pry a little bit more with the other one. Yeah, it's still going to hook right there. bit. There we go. Got the door on the other side of it now. Now I can reach in there and grab it and really pull on it. Okay, it clears now. We can open up the door. We'll worry about how the fender looks when we get the other one on there. Now let's go back to work on the headlight. Okay, I've done some reassembly here. Got the computer back in, got the battery back in, battery box underneath of it. And you know, we're looking pretty good. We got good room here. This looks halfway decent. Doesn't have to be perfect. I don't look down on people that drive around in beat up cars because I got beat up cars. Just make sure it's safe. That's the main thing. Okay, we're going to work on this headlight a little bit. And before we start, I want you to see what we're working with. Right here, there is the difference that we're starting out with. I've got some Cerakote, I don't know, some stuff we've used before and it works pretty good. Cerakote, ceramic coating, I think is what it does. I've used this on a couple, 3 of them, and it doesn't work too bad. So got some oxidization remover, and we're going to hit this and see how it comes out. Now this is just a moist towelette. Some of this is just from being wet, but it does make a big difference. You still see that it's oxidized here, but it's not, doesn't look anything like what it did before. What I had been using is just DEET woods off. Anything with DEET in it, the DEET chemical is the one that worked really good to get that oxidation off of them, but they have to be sealed afterwards or they'll haze right back. And for God's sake, don't use anything like brake cleaner. I've had people that I've told them specifically, don't use brake cleaner, and then they use brake cleaner and then, oh my God, my headlights are terrible. Yeah, I know. But you should have told me not to do that. I did. I'll let that dry a little bit, see where we stand. Now see, that's a huge difference already. Now this kit comes with some scratch pads, different grits. You use the dark one first, then the lighter one. I do not have the ceramic coat that comes with this because I've used it up, but it's supposed to come with a ceramic coat, which will deal with that by using some turtle wax. It's a substitute, not as good, but it'll work. What I do is, do a plastic polish and then turtle wax on top of it. Now these are meant to be wet sanded, so I got a little water here. You start in. I'll speed you up here. This is going to take a while. Okay. Usually I go until I feel it to where it's not dragging so much. These were not pitted up very bad at all. I just replaced them because I had new ones. So now let's peel this off. Put on the fine grit. Go after it. All right. At this point, that's where you're supposed to put on this ceramic coating, but I'm gonna go get some polish, and I've got a buffer wheel. Yet all the products that promise, you know, instant effect, yeah, they're snake oil. A lot of them do work, but it takes some elbow grease to make it happen, and it's not going to happen quickly. You just have to stick at it. Yes, things like toothpaste will work. It's because it has some grit in it. Same thing, same reason it cleans your teeth, it'll clean this. I use this Meguiar's Plastex. You know, put an amount on there. And we've got this foam ball. Chuck it into a drill. You know, you might not want to open it wide open because you're going to make a mess. Ooh. I know I'm not quite white and I need to get. You gotta keep moving, don't burn it. And usually it is very messy. Watch those edges. See what it looks like now. Now, you can still tell which one's the new one and which one's the old one by putting them against each other. But compared to where we started, that's looking pretty good. Now, let's wax this to seal it in. Now, I use just regular old turtle wax because I've had pretty good luck with it. Same way it protects your paint, it'll protect your plastic. Just start rubbing it in. It's very mildly abrasive. That's how it cleans and polishes. And that's all those other things are. They have a very fine grit in them that polishes. put my hand on it, and I put some pretty good pressure against the plastic. Since I have this headlight out, it's a little bit harder to hold on to, but you don't have to worry about the paint so much. Of course, I don't have to worry about paint on my van since it was used as ammunition. Okay, let's clean this off and call it good. Okay. All right. Not too bad. Not that good, but not too bad. Now, I've got to figure out how to fix that bumper up in there, get this headlight in here, and see if we can make it point some semblance of straight. Okay, I don't know if it points straight, but it illuminates, so we'll see. Now I got to get the bumper all up in place. I've already popped it out a little bit, but I'll have to make an invention to hold it all up in there. Okay, I have done the hack job of hack jobs and broke out the old plumber's roll to be able to hold this up for now. Hook it onto here and hook it onto here, and it just has to hold it up long enough. You know, we're gonna put a hood on it and a fender and a bumper cover, and you know, this side over here has been, you know, so we might do something about that, but it doesn't have to be perfect because, you know, a pole jumped out in front of him here a couple months ago, so the van is not perfectly pristine. We're just trying to get down the road with it, haul some kids around. As long as it doesn't ditch itself, it's fine. This hood hinge is bent a little bit, and that's, I don't know, we'll you know, cross that bridge when we come to it. I don't think I can give it enough Ike Turner treatment to get it back down on there. The hood does latch, but it's gonna sit there and warble. It has scooted back quite a bit. It shoved it back. So I'm gonna try to scoot forward a little bit. I'm a little bit worried about the thing no longer lining up to the hood latch. If I get too wound up. Still latches. better. I think it's good enough. Like I say, we're going to get another hood, a fender, and a bumper cover, and it'll look better after that, but we just need to get around for the holidays. It is the day before Thanksgiving, and I'm trying to get stuff going so that I can just drive it home tonight. Amazingly, that headlight is not pointed too bad. I just, like I say, stuck it on there. I was worried it was going to aim too high. If anything, it's too low. I think I'll just leave it where it is. It's not pointing directly at oncoming traffic, so we're going to call it good. I am thoroughly impressed by the alignment of these headlights. I was just beating and banging and pushing on the front end up there and got it just about right. I am also thoroughly unimpressed by the alignment of his headlights back there. Well, made it home all right. Nothing fell off. And you know, this will make a good 50-yarder if you're blind in one eye and have cataracts in the other. But like I said, we're going to put a front clip on it when we find one. It don't have to be right now because it's functional. Well, it drove home. It drove good. Lights work as they should. So I'll call this a win. And it doesn't need to look good. It'll go for a while till we can find a front clip. So that's cheap auto repair. You don't have to be good at it. I mean, most mechanically inclined people can get it 75% of the way there with no problem. The other 25%, that takes a lot of expertise. You can make it, those people can make it look good. I can't. I'll just let them do it. Like, comment, subscribe, hit your little bell notification, share it all around. We'll talk to you later.